All right, it looks like we are live. And just as soon as we get the countdown, we'll go ahead and hit the intro button. Today we're talking about the Sharia. All right, well, here we are. Welcome to another edition of the Cross and the Crescent discussion group here on the Global Patriot Radio Network on Blog Talk Radio, and here on the Cross and the Crescent Facebook page, the Dr. Eric Smith Facebook page, and live streaming here on the Cross and the Crescent YouTube page. Okay, so it's Sunday afternoon and the sun is shining. It's just a bit chilly, though. That's you know why it's chilly? We call it winter, and Christmas, one of the most joyous times of the year where we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, is imminent. It's this coming Saturday, as a matter of fact. I was reading through some of the Facebook. You have these threads that people love to participate in. I don't much participate in them anymore because everybody's always gets so full of butt hurt every time you turn around and you say something that they disagree with, or they report you, because of course anything that they disagree with is hate speech. But anyway, we were in one of the threads. I was conversing with somebody, and they say, what they say, you Christians, you're so paganistic. You are, that Christmas is a pagan holiday, right? You know this. And what do you do when you want to start a conversation with that? Because you know exactly where they're going with this. They're saying, well, the Romans, they had Pomona. I think it was Pomona. I might be wrong on that. Maybe it was Apollo. Who really cares? And they celebrated his birthday during the winter solstice, and they said, this is. And then the Christians just used that as a holiday for Jesus. Now, okay, fine. So what are you saying? Are we, we celebrate the wrong holiday, or we celebrate the wrong day? Boy, that just destroys my faith right here in place. Let me take the Shahada right here today.
I know, right?
I know. I mean, everybody knows this, right? Does anybody here in the chat, in on the panel, not know that Jesus was not actually born on January 20, or not January, December 21st?
Yeah, I actually have a friend that's agnostic / atheist, and he was actually talking to me about that a couple of days ago, and I was like, I honestly don't believe that Jesus was born on December 25th. I believe it's just a day that we picked to do that. I don't believe that the actual birth, if you look into the biblical narratives and the time of year and the things that were happening, and it just doesn't add up. I said, but hey, if everybody wants to say it, then so be it. But yeah. That's
Well,
you heretics! No, come on. Next, you're going to be telling me that Santa Claus is not real. Come on, dude.
I can't do that with my name.
All right.
He was born on my birthday, September 18th.
Right, well,
Is that
just as
right?
long as Santa Claus is still real. All right.
September
That's when he
September
was
is
born in September.
September is definitely a lot
Mhm.
more realistic than what December is. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yep.
well, here's here's from what I know. This is that the shepherds were in the fields that evening. Why were the shepherds in the field? Did the shepherds stay out there with the sheep every night, all year round?
Nope.
No, they don't. The only time that they really stay out in the fields with their sheep is when they're having little baby sheeps.
Yes.
Is that what you call them? Sheeps, baby sheep? No, we call them lambs. There we go. When
Lamb.
they're having little.
Lamb.
Anyway, all right.
All
So
right.
we're being technical. Okay, you're right. The lambs. All right, so they're out there with their baby little sheep lambs, and the only time that they really do that is in the springtime when they are having lambs. So we could deduce that it was in the springtime sometime, but it's not December 25th. And even if it was December, who cares? It's just a day that we set aside to celebrate the birthday. For an example, my birthday is July 4th. No, it's not. But I celebrate July 4th every single year because it's a birthday. It doesn't matter if it's my birthday but it's what's represented on July 4th. So, sucker, you didn't destroy this Kafir's face. Now, you might have got somebody else to take the Shahada, but it wasn't me based on that misinformation.
Well, in our family, because I have 2 weeks off in the summertime, last week of July and the first week of August, I have my birthday off every year because mine's July 28th. But my wife doesn't have her birthday off, or sorry, I'm not off for her birthday. So what we did is we've changed my wife's birth date to when we go away on our trip to Cuba in January.
Which is like next month. Don't rub it in. Oh, don't.
Yeah, I've got like 33 days left.
When you're all freezing, we're going to be getting a suntan. Yeah, you're not rubbing it in. I get it. That's fine. Hater. Okay, so today, what are we doing today? Today we're going to be talking about the Sharia once again. We're going to be talking about the Islamic law. And the reason why we're bringing this up is because Rad, he just cannot stop. He does not know when to shut his pie hole. What does he do? He calls a certain show done by a certain. Now, he actually said that he's a former imam on this show, and I don't quite understand that. But you know what? I don't care because he's a self-proclaimed imam to begin with, so who cares? But the bottom line is that
Yeah, I know. It almost makes me think, was he fired or something, or what is it? I mean, once you're an imam, don't you go to the mosque and teach and do the prayers and everything else? What happened? Sounds like a disconnect.
I don't know, but you know what that would cause me to do, Connie? That would, in order to look into that, I would actually have to
care.
Yeah, there you go. I would have to actually care what it. But anyway, Rad, being the Rad that he is, calls up this show, and he gets those two other clowns on there that I invited here. By the way, what were their Kamal? What's his name? Kamal. How do you say that, Rad?
Kamala, like that wrestler,
like the vice
Kamal
president.
Badawi.
No, what's Jamal?
It's Camel.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get. Okay, the Camel and Muhammad. And Rad was just trying to ask, because I don't know, what was his topic, Rad? You were just trying to ask something simple.
Well, what I asked was, which actually lead me into this. What I asked him was simply this: since what's his name, Charles, is now an apostate of Islam, in the perfect Sharia state, however they want to create it. Sometime in the future, whatever, should he be killed as an apostate? And they gave all kinds of goofy stuff. Well, first of all, Kenny seemed to say, your question supposes, the question that, in a future Islamic state, that somehow Muslims, we want a future Islamic state. So that presupposes that idea. And I'm like, you don't? First of all, you don't want to live under the Sharia? So he's contradicting himself on that. But this Camel dude, Jamal, we got to play the commercial. Body wash for Muslim men.
What's really sad is that we actually have that in the. But anyway.
So he says, Why do you want to talk about all the negative things of Sharia law? Why not the good things? Like, we feed the poor with our zakat. We do all this stuff. I'm like, dude, that everybody feeds the poor. Every, legal system, governmental system. So that's nothing shocking or new. You know what I mean? But yeah, when you're killing apostates. So here's the funny thing. Kenny's claim is that killing apostates only applies to those that commit treason in times of war, side with the enemy, commit propaganda, blah, blah, or, commit saboteur or something like that. Now, that makes no sense because the person can repent of his apostasy. Most of the schools give him 3 days, right?
Nope. Well, two schools. Two schools give him 3 days, and the other two schools don't give him any time at all. Right. They die that day, unless Kenny wants to make up his own school of thought.
Well, that's what he's doing here. But yeah, so if you commit treason and you betray a Muslim army, okay, to the wicked Kafir army, and you get a bunch of Muslim kills, I mean, are you seriously then going to be allowed to repent of that? That makes no sense. But anyway, so I brought that up, but Camel's point of view is radically different than Jamal's, than Kenny's point of view. Jamal just says, no, we don't care if he leaves Islam, as long as he keeps his mouth shut. As long as he doesn't tell people about it. As long as he doesn't, go on the rooftop. And I'm like, you mean like on the internet? And tell people he's no longer a Muslim and that Islam is wrong and evil and all this other stuff, like that. And they didn't really have a response for that. But I do want to share a slideshow.
They kept diverting to Deuteronomy something. And they just they would not. And this is what prompted me to invite them, because they kept talking over you. Number one, that's what they do. They just talk over people. And then the second thing that they were doing, they kept trying to change the subject away from apostasy in Islam. Well, what about Deuteronomy 26 says? I was trying to think of a good example of Jews going out and killing apostates today. And do you guys have any idea why I could not think of a good example of that?
Because it doesn't happen.
And Christians going out and killing apostate Christians, and it does not happen today. But if you look at Islam, what do? They're out there doing it today. Yeah, so it's just sick. So I thought, all right, today let's go ahead, and because he talked about the beauty of the Sharia. We simply are unable to see how beautiful the Sharia is. And this is one of the things he was lamenting. And, if we go looking for the Sharia, let me just give you a good graphic. I brought all kinds of little props today, by the way. You have a book here that's 1,200. It's 1,000. Let me make sure. I don't want to be accused of, you don't know how long the book is. Okay, that's fine. I don't know how the book. The book is 1,232 pages long. So you would think that in a book this thick, that there would be some good in here and some beautiful things. And you know what? I'm almost positive that there is. But then again, I would have to take time out of my life to go looking for these things. So what I have done is I have, you can see all the little stickies and stuff that I got coming out of here. I have gone in and I've read quite a few things in here, and I've identified them. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to illustrate the beauty of the Sharia by reading from the Reliance to Traveler today. Actually, what I'm going to do, hold on. Okay. Let me use my other prop, okay? Okay. And what I'm doing is I'm equating the Reliance to the Traveler as being pristine as this glass of water. Oh no, did I do something wrong on Blog Talk Radio? Because I just got the 90-second warning. I know what I did. That's okay. I'll just upload the audio later. But what I was saying is it's nothing but a clean, cool, refreshing glass of water to quench that parched thirst that you get in the 132-degree deserts of Saudi Arabia. That's what the Sharia is like. But what we're going to do, it is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So what we're going to do is gosh, they're giving me that warning again. What we're going to do is we're going to read from the Jurisprudence Manual of the Sharia, and we're going to see how beautiful it is. So, Rad, you go ahead and start us off. Connie, which one were you going to do? Hold on, Connie, I'd sent you. Which one are you going to do today?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
All right, I sent you a message on. Okay, that's all right.
Ooh, okay, let me look. Okay, and I'll get back
okay.
with you.
All right, I'm going to solicit your opinion. I'm thinking I was going to ask you about either wife beating or disciplining your wife, and disciplining your wife and
or prepubescent girls.
Not. It doesn't have to be pre. She doesn't. She just has to be your wife. I mean, in order to discipline her and lead her back to the straight path, she does not have to be prepubescent. She can actually be a mature woman, I would think. Mm-hmm. But or you can do it on marriage or whatever you want to do. You just let me know when we get to it. Okay, Rad.
All right.
Go ahead.
So going back over this thing on apostasy, this happened in the summer when I asked Kenny about this, and he came up with the now modern scholarly view that apostasy is only committed in times of war. And he actually went to this Islamic scholar, Jonathan A.C. Brown, website where he had published one of his articles, which I actually have because I belong to a scholarly website that sends me all kinds of articles. I mean, PhD, all kinds of stuff. So I actually had it, and it was kind of funny because he was reading it, and of course he put me backstage. He was blocked, and I couldn't comment on it. But I'm going to go over what he did read and didn't read from this article because it's really funny because he often will use scholars, but he misuses them. You know what I mean? But let me take it up. I'm going to share my screen here with the PowerPoint presentation I made, and I got to get better at doing this. Slide. Oh, there's a new thing.
Let me know.
Slides, Google Slides, my computer. No, PDFs, I can't do that. Okay.
How the Bears doing it? Is anybody
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Okay. All right, sharing the screen.
Well, that's right.
They suck.
Bears suck. Bears
ready?
Suck. Okay. Better be. Here we go.
The title, Killing Apostates in Islam, Refuting the Bloody Mary Imam's Propaganda. Oh, I'm sorry, the now defrocked or de-imamed imam, because he's the former imam. Okay. So, accurately quoting Jonathan A.C. Brown, what Kenny did not read. So, this is from his article. A recent study of books in which Arab Christians detailed the heroic exploits of Christian saints under Muslim rule bolstered the impression that apostasy was punished only when it was perceived as a threat to public order. Now, Kenny will interpret public order as you're betraying, to an enemy outside the gates. No, public order, think about this. What even happened in today's modern times, you would go to Saudi Arabia, Mecca, and start preaching Christ. That would upset the public order because people would want to kill you. You know what I mean? There'd be
spreading corruption, yes.
Exactly, okay. These Christian lives of saints were telling a number of Muslims who embraced Christianity in the early Islamic period. According to these stories, each apostate saint made a public confession of his new faith. A public confession. There's no act of treason. There's no act of sabotage. There's no giving away, state secrets. It's just a public confession of his new faith. And each was subsequently executed. The one story in which the apostate was not executed, listen to this, is a case in the 10th century Egypt, was a man who was told by the monks that he joined that he had to repudiate Islam publicly. He did not, however, he was never executed, despite his own father writing to the caliph, asking him to have his own son put to death. That's family love right there, people. His own father asked the caliph to put his son to death. In fact, the man lived out his life, and a monk established a monastery, even reigned Christian criticism. But he did not publicly refute Islam, okay? He just lived as a monk, quietly living away his life. Okay, however, how Muslim state dealt with the apostasy throughout the pre-modern era shows a similar concern with apostasy, only when it became a public matter. A renowned Arab poet, Abu blah blah blah, was openly skeptical about his prophecy and formal religious mocking the Hajj in writing. There are two types of people in the world, people with brains and no religion, or people with religion and no brains. Al-Mari died of natural causes, as did numerous other famous free thinkers in the medieval Islamic world. So again, this is arbitrary, right? Okay, I just want to point this out. But here we go. Similar findings come in a recent study of 60 cases. I actually have that work. Of 60 cases in which people were executed for apostasy or other types of heresies during. No, I don't have this one. I got to get this one during the Mamluk period. Okay, those who were executed for declaring their apostasy were mainly Christians who had converted to Islam and then made a public show of renouncing it, I mean Islam. as is the case of 2 Coptic Christians in 1383 and a whole group in 1379. In the latter case, they were given numerous chances to recant and their apostasy before being punished. Later in the Ottoman Empire, this is the work I got. Later in the Ottoman Empire, a Muslim who had converted, listen to this one, this is great. This is where Kenny will actually point to and say he endangered the life of a Muslim. Later in the Ottoman Empire, a Muslim who had converted to Christianity and become a monk was brought to court to repent before the judge. When the judge offered the man coffee, presumably Turkish, he threw it in the judge's face and began cursing Islam. The judge decided that the man was insane. Only after he publicly insulted Islam 3 more times was the man executed. Now, I got some questions for the audience. In any of these cases, was there an act of treason? Was there an act of sabotage? Was there an act of giving state secrets away to evil Christian armies outside the gates? Anybody? Did anybody see me read anything like that? Was there anything applied of that? Or what was the main reason for their execution? Anybody?
Because he converted, that's why.
Mm-hmm. It made it publicly known, okay? And did not hide that matter. Exactly. But now, here's what Kenny did read, and you guys are going to laugh at this. Here's what Kenny does read. Okay, the part that Kenny reads, Modern Scholars, Public Order, okay. The tremendous change in how the role of religious is viewed in society, strongly influenced by nationalism and what? Western secularism, have led some Muslim scholars to investigate the Sharia heritage on apostasy. The notion that the crime of apostasy in Islam was more a matter of protecting the state and social order. Okay, I have no problem agreeing with that. Again, protecting the state and social order does not mean you're killing someone for committing treason. No, you're committing someone. You're putting the person to death because he's going to upset the apple cart. He's going to cause riots. Okay, he's going to cause looting and damage, and you know what I mean. He's going to upset things, protests, all that stuff. You don't want to do that. Okay, protecting the state and social order. Then a policing individual's belief was articulated on what 1940s. By the South Asian Muslim activist intellectual Abdul al-Mawadi, who died in 1979. Through the insight, though the insight seems to have first come from the Indian judge, again, 1928. We have another guy, 1964, and then who died in 2016. Blah, blah, have reconsidered how apostasy should be viewed in a context in which religious identity is not a state matter. But here's the kind of thing, they're not really reinterpreting it. Because as it shows, as long as you kept your mouth shut, it wasn't a state matter. I mean, it wasn't a concern, unless the father got involved and said, that, he wanted them killed. You know what I mean? Okay. But it was only unless you made it publicly. If you went out evangelizing, if you went out saying Islam is wrong, come to Christ, then it became a problem. Okay. But nothing on being a state criminal, committing treason or sabotage or anything like that in a time of war. They have concluded that was criminal about apostasy. Again, here we go. Was its public dimensions, and that the threat it posed to the public order, built on confessional identity. Again, public order just means what? It just means you're not going to, there's not going to be riots in the streets. They're not going to, rip you out of your house like they do in Pakistan. And throw you, and stone you to death right there in front of your family, or behead you right there in front of your family. In other words, it means just maintaining the social order that we all live under, no anarchy. It is this public element, again, publicly admitting your apostasy was what's going to get you killed, they argue. Not the question of a person's private decision to follow their consciences in changing their religion, the Islamic law should focus on. Now, remember, Kenny's position is that you can commit apostasy, you can even do it publicly, just as long as you don't betray the Islamic country, the Islamic State, to an enemy, right? Okay? And all that I read here, even the parts that he did read, do you guys see anything like that?
Nope.
Anybody?
I didn't.
No. Yeah.
No.
But let's...
I actually had a quick question I wanted to ask about this, too.
Sure.
The thing that it's like, I don't know, it's something that really rubs me the wrong way. I feel really kind of disturbed by it. It's this concept, I don't know, maybe it's my political position too, but I think that politics and religion can come hand in hand. It just seems like such government overreach. Like, I feel so uncomfortable with even hearing these words. I'm like, the government should not have this much power anywhere. Like what
Exactly.
Like, it sounds like 1984, the Ministry of Truth. Like it's almost the same thing. If I go against the Ministry of Truth, I am going to be rubbed out. That is horrifying. That is terrifying. And it's like,
not if you remember the Ministry of Truth. It's not.
But I'm like, but the thing what's disturbing to me is that it's like, if you say, oh, it's treason, you speak against the government. Well, I could say that about anything. Like, if I have that much power, I could use it for anything. It's like really terrifying. Like, I was watching this movie called Time Cop with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and it's like this guy can travel through time, and because he has like this access to time, he can basically change any effects, and he can become the president. And he has like pretty much all this, absolute power that can't be stopped. And that is really terrifying. Any type of place where we have absolute power, it is scary. I don't care what people believe. If a person doesn't agree with something, so what? Look, in our country, if we use the standard here, if someone said we spoke out against the government, we could be put to death according to this rule, right? So it's like, this is a terrifying rule in any way of looking at it. There's really no way, in my opinion, that we can justify this. All you're saying is basically the government is God, and the government can do. We can do.
You said, did you just see what happened in the House of Representatives this week? Did you see what happened with Ilhan Omar and her Islamophobia?
Yeah,
it actually passed, and they didn't define it.
I would protest against that. I'll send a letter to the Senate or something, especially from an ex-Muslim point of view.
Well, the problem is it's already passed.
It's not going to pass in the Senate, though.
Yeah, it won't pass in this.
No,
but it has
so
passed.
It'll die there. It'll die there.
No, is this just like one of those bogus resolutions that they passed saying, "Hey"?
No, it's not.
No. It wasn't a resolution. This is something that they was going to give them the power of law to enforce.
Oh, so it's criminal.
I don't know if they were going to criminalize it, but they were going to definitely identify people groups, not only domestically but internationally.
They want to monitor.
This is not to be done here in the States. It's supposed to affect the UN and to affect the world, but supposedly,
which is really bad because the UN, they got that's the world court.
So that's they're trying to while they're trying to enforce the UN to do this Islamization, Islamophobia again. I really, really appreciated David Wood's take on it, how he explained it, that Ilhan Omar is really full of Islamophobia.
Yeah, I saw that video this morning. She's the chief of her own.
Yes.
Dude, we should just hand her over to Muslims, be stoned to death for committing adultery, and marry the Kafir.
Sharia. I mean, this is the thing. This is the beauty of the. Stop it, Rad. This is the beauty of the Sharia. And look. Okay, so. I was going to say two things. Number one, the Senate, it's going to die in the Senate. Why? Because the Senate has the filibuster. You're not going to get 41 Republicans to vote for this thing in the Senate. It's just not going to happen. So hopefully you won't get somebody like Joe Manchin saying, I want to kill the filibuster, or whoever that mensch is out of Arizona, whoever she is. So hopefully they won't do that. They're not going to do that. But the second thing is you're talking about apostasy. Now, remember that nice, clear, pristine glass of water that I had this morning? I have here. Okay, so I'm going to say that, and I was going to get black, but I was going through my wife's cupboard as far as food coloring. This is what one of these things. You have 1,200 pages of beauty in the Sharia, but look what happens to this. Oops, how do I get this off here? And I picked green for a reason.
Islam is green.
Islam is green. So if you take this pristine glass and you just put one little drop of bad law into it, look what it does to that. Are you going to want to drink that?
So gross. No way.
No, we're not going to want to drink that. So that's just one. And that's just one that we've covered thus far. Wait till we get done with the rest of them. It's like pouring a river of water, green water in there. All right, Rad, go ahead. I'm sorry. We interrupted you.
No, that's not a problem, because I want to get to the end because I find this interesting. I'm sorry, what?
I wanted to say can I say one quick thing that I wanted to add to this?
Sure, go ahead.
The thing that you brought up. All right, thank you so much, Rad. I appreciate it. The thing that I wanted to add is the idea about this bill. Actually, on its paper, it might sound really nice. Like, you're really caring about people and you don't want people to be hurt. This sounds nice in packaging, but if we look at the implication of what this bill does, it's extremely dangerous, in my opinion, because what the bill is saying is it's basically saying, if it's the same thing of government overreach, it's saying, well, if someone doesn't agree with me, you can be criminalized. That is extremely dangerous. And I don't think we should have that kind of bill. Like, the thing is, we can have common courtesy and say, well, I'm going to respect, or I'm going to agree to disagree. We can have courtesy when we are engaging other people. But this type of legislation is extremely dangerous in the sense that we can just, it's the same thing like the Ministry of Truth passing a bill. It sounds really nice. It sounds like we're true, we're saying good things, but in reality, it's not that. It's a way of the government being able to control people even more than they are, which we don't want.
Oh, exactly. That's why.
This is no different.
Yes, they use words. They use words. I mean, though it may be filthy, disgusting, pathetic, pitiful, they go that they name it. This is a truthful bill, the truth-worthy bill. Whatever they say, they use the nicey words to title it. But then when you read it, it's full of dead men's bones and destruction.
Well, this is the scariest thing here is that this is a reflection of M103 from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Now, M103 was going to declare Islamophobia a crime in Canada. What this does, in a sense, is take away freedom of speech. And in countries that don't have freedom of speech, it takes away what they define as freedom of expression. It also removes anyone who has freedom of religion, because it gives Islam supremacy. That's the number one thing it does. And for those who don't know that, there is no Christian phobia. That we don't have a Jew phobia. We don't have. There's all these phobias we don't have. Hindus, whatever. But the only one that fears all of them, to be honest, is Islam, because it's willing to kill all of us. So, yeah. We have to, it's only a phobia if it's an irrational fear, which means you have no reason to fear. But if they're really out to get you, is it a phobia?
Yeah, really. If they're cutting people's heads off, that's a clue right there.
I fear that. Yeah, I have to say, I fear getting my head cut off, even though I'm not an apostate. But either way, so if you can share my screen in, because I want to finish this up, because I do got to jet out of here pretty soon. But this is basically now his conclusion. Okay, after he reads that article, after he points out that every case, where apostates were killed in actual historical documents, historical records, was because they made their apostasy public. They made it known. They refused to repent, or recant their apostasy. In cases where they didn't make it publicly known, right? They just, retired away or whatever, they were not killed. Even when the father of the apostate begged the caliph to actually put him to death. Then you have modern scholars come up and say, well, hey, basically saying the same thing. Saying, hey, it's not, we're not interested in private in your homes. We're only interested if you make it publicly known, like Charles did, and like what's his name, Camel was saying, yeah, we won't kill you as long as you keep it quiet, as long as you keep your mouth shut, as long as you don't tell anybody. And that's what endangers the Muslim community, is trying to convert or get other Muslims away from their Islam. That's what's upsetting the social and public order, right? But here's what he writes. This is his conclusion. It may be more useful to argue, based on premises accepted by all involved, the horrific violence unleashed by ISIS, hear this, against any who oppose it is repugnant and in of itself from the perspective of Islamic law and human rights, law alike. That wasn't the case. It was, by the way, just me here. That wasn't the case at first. The only time it became repugnant was when they burned that Jordanian pilot alive. That's when they started to turn on ISIS. Before that, ISIS was very popular. But beyond this, the consequences for the very priorities that Islam seeks to protect have also proven dire. Listen to this. The harsh punishments enacted by ISIS on those it declares apostate has endangered disgust globally among non-Muslims and Muslims alike. Anecdotally, I have heard of many Muslims, both in Muslim-majority countries and in the West, who have experienced crisis of faith or even lost it entirely due to the violence done in the name of Islam. things like ISIS execution of apostates often top the list of what has led to these crises. So you see now we can't kill apostates anymore because now everybody knows about it and they can see it on video and they can see the witness the horrific stuff that's being done all over the world. So it makes us look bad. So we shouldn't do it. Let's continue. In the Sharia, the aim of punishing apostates from Islam is to what? Protect the communal faith and social order of a Muslim state. Okay? If punishing apostates severely is severely, he's not saying no, we shouldn't kill apostates, just we shouldn't do it so severely. If punishing apostates severely is driving Muslims away from their religion, which is the whole reason that you kill the apostate is to prevent other Muslims from leaving their religion, right? Then this policy is undermining its own purpose. Whoops, Allah made a mistake in his Sharia law. Wow, what? Muslims are, human beings are leaving this vile religion because you're killing them? Yeah, that's, okay. Well, then clearly Allah made a mistake, didn't he? It's not clear. He actually says it's not clear what order heaven maintaining harsh punishments for apostasy would be upholding in our troubled world. So there you have it. That's according to Kenny's stop sharing. Yeah.
I will again stay my belief that this was a ghost-written book and that he doesn't even know what's written within. Because
this isn't Kenny's. No. This isn't what Kenny wrote. This is what he read to me in response to me questioning on the Sharia law. No, this was an article by Jonathan A.C. Brown. Okay. But no. What I'm saying is Kenny only reads bits of things and he thinks it's backing up his position, but clearly it's not. Actually, the true position of killing apostates in Islam is if you make it publicly. If you sit there and start telling everybody, "I'm an apostate. I don't believe in Islam anymore," you will be you can be killed under Sharia law. Yeah. But here's an interesting thing, which I want to throw to you, Mr. Eric. If you pull up that book of Sharia law there.
Yep.
Okay. And you go to the section of the one that you had up on apostate, killing apostates.
Oh my goodness. I've gone okay. 595, I think. 596, 590. 594. What? Okay, so 595 would be right after. I'm getting there. Give me a second. Okay, here we are. 595. There we are. All right, 595. Apostasy. Nope, it's not there yet. Hold on. I'm there now. There we go. Okay. Did you know it's kufar to leave Islam? This form of unbelief. Yeah, this is what it defines apostasy as.
I will stand for anyone that leaves Islam because it's going to be about my son as well. My son is nigh into leaving Islam. He's seeing more and more that it's just pathetic. And that would include Charles or anybody or even Kenny. I would stand there to defend their lives. Because this is nothing but pathetic stuff. But go ahead, Eric. Thank you.
It is. Well, this file. Okay, this is the PDF file that I have, and if anybody wants a copy of this, I would be more than happy to email it to you for no additional charge.
Email it to Kenny.
Yeah, with all these things highlighted.
Yeah, we've been studying this for years. So,
yeah. Okay, so this is what it says apostasy is. It says, and anybody that does this deserves to be killed. Right here it says deserves to be killed. So if you're an apostate, you deserve to be killed.
But look at go back out. No, wait, go back out. Stop. Seriously, this is apostasy. It may come about through sarcasm, as when someone is told, "Trim your nails. It is sunnah," and he replies, "I would wait. I would do what." Go back.
No,
out.
It's up here. No, where? Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right there. Stop. Yeah. Trim your nails. It is sunnah, and he replies, "I would not do it even if it were." As opposed to when someone circumstances this, which exonerates him of having committed apostasy, such as when his tongue runs away with him, or when he is quoting someone, or says it out of fear. So in other words, if you mock or you're sarcastic against the sunnah, even when it comes down to something simple as trimming your toenails or whatever, you're an apostate. You can be killed. Go ahead.
Sounds like Kenny's in a little bit of trouble here.
Well, I'm good because I chew my fingernails. I'm good.
Exactly. All right. But here, go ahead? Scroll down. Let's look at look over this.
Okay. So this is apostasy. Let me. Well, no, we've already done apostasy. All right. Okay. All right. Where do you want me to go?
Oh, scroll down. Well, do you have the section where it talks about that there is no retribution in killing someone, but there's no
right
retribution
here. There's no
apostate?
indemnity. There is no indemnity for killing an apostate. 8.4 right there.
That also goes with the penalty for murder. You're supposed to be executed. It was supposed to be a life for a life, and one of the exceptions for that is which backs this up, is for killing an apostate.
Actually, yeah, you're right, Paul. Let me go back to that because that's on page 584. Let me go up to page 584. Oh, a little bit too far. Come on, Kafir. 584. That's 557. Come on, 584. Let's go. Okay, so the killing of a believer is more heinous in Allah's sight than doing away with all of this world. Retaliation is obligatory. And then there was something in
Which
here.
It means what they're talking about when they say retaliation, the taking of a life for someone who took a life.
Right, but here it says that there's the ruling for a person insane.
These are the exceptions to the rule.
Right.
You can
be so
mentally ill, and you get away with it, or you can be a Muslim and kill a non-Muslim and get away with it.
Right
or
there.
What was the third one? A father or mother who kills their own kids.
Right, yeah, there you go. That's lovely.
Right there.
Oh, that's beauty. That's post-birth abortion.
Hold on. Let's do this. Yeah. Let's get this out here. Okay.
I think you need more food coloring, dude.
There we go. There it is. Look at there. Let's put another drop of Sharia in the beauty of yummy yum. Looks like somebody.
I think you need more food coloring.
Okay.
But hey, but Islam feeds the poor, you know. Right. But they especially feed them on the poor for Ramadan, so they can get them to starve. That's the only way the poor can eat is during Ramadan when they're supposed to be fasting. This is a true story. Did you guys hear this? Somalia they had a famine about a decade ago during Ramadan, and Ramadan where they do the fast, right? Well, they had this huge famine, and these imams were telling them that these starving people in Somalia had to fast, and they're like, "How the hell can we fast? We don't have any food." You know, like, no, you must have paid the fast. And it shamed Saudi Arabia and these Muslim countries so bad that they finally sent food to these poor people in Somalia. And they actually said, how can we ask them to fast if they don't have any food? So the only reason they gave them food was, okay, you can have your food, after you fast, for, next 10 hours. Then you can feast. You know what I mean? For the next month or so. It's totally ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway, it's beautiful. This is beautiful.
Yes, it's hold on, let me get the glass back up here. I mean, who's going to want a good swig of that?
Well, if you put some gin in that actually looks like a good drink. Put some gin in that. I'm just saying,
Does he?
The beauty of Sharia.
Yeah, the beauty of Sharia is right there in the glass.
Okay, it becomes beautiful as you're drinking of alcohol.
That'd have to be red for being a Bloody Mary. That's why they call it Bloody Mary. Okay, let's go back to acts that entail leaving Islam. So, what if you can be killed? If you can be killed for apostasy, you're going to want to know what apostasy means, right? Okay, so here, there we go. I think that's kind of. So let's go ahead and take a look see what apostasy is. Apostasy means to prostrate to an idol. I would agree with that 100%. Bowing to a rock in the middle of a desert. Well, I guess they don't call it. That's monotheism right there. I guess I messed up on that one. Okay, how about this one? To speak words that imply unbelief, such as Allah is a third of three. Now, do we say that Allah or God is a third of three? That's not what we say, because that would be relegating God to a mathematical equation. We say Trinity is what we say. So if it says Allah is a Trinity, well, then I guess couldn't we get off the hook in a court of law in this? Wouldn't you think that would be a disclaimer saying, well, we didn't say Allah is a third of three. We just said Trinity. Would you be able to not be prosecuted for that as a Christian? I would hope so. To revile Allah. So you cannot whoa, wait a second. Wait, hold on a second. You cannot revile or his messenger. Look at that.
Sounds like he's equal.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you can't revile Allah or his messenger. I wonder if you could revile Jesus. Does that include what about Moses, David, Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac?
Only Muhammad. Only Muhammad.
Exactly, John. Only Muhammad. Yeah. Now, why is that? Why is that? Why is Muhammad so special in all of this? What makes, I mean, here's a guy that has done everything that when we look at the prophets and some of the evil things that prophets had done, like kill people, like David did, had somebody killed. Do we celebrate that? No. But Muhammad does it. Hey, that's okay. Let's see. To be sarcastic about Allah's name. Okay, tell me, has anybody seen AP's video this morning? He put out this morning. Okay, it's the 10 reasons to be a Muslim. And it's narrated by Sheikh Yabudi. And so he is Sheikh Yabudi giving 10 reasons for people to be a Muslim. And,
are you sure it's not Sheikh Yabudi?
It's Sheikh
Yabudi.
Sheikh Yabudi.
Mashallah.
I mean, it was that. Okay, yeah.
Wow.
It was hilarious. So I would, after the show, I would go back in and are you going to leave bacon for Santa? There you go. That's okay. That's perfectly okay as Christians.
God bless you, sir. God bless you.
Okay, let's go back to that and see what Sheikh Yabudi has to say. Okay, to say that Muslim is an unbeliever is a kafir. To say that you're a kafir, so call somebody a kafir, is to revile the religion of Islam. So, you know, I would think that if any of us that are on this panel would ever appear in a Sharia court of law, we would probably be toast. I'm just saying. I mean, you just don't ever try to get caught in an Islamic country and have to go to a Sharia court, because to revile the religion of Islam.
Can I interject?
Yes, you can. Go ahead.
I have more of a family version of a family Sharia court when I left. So when I came on leave from Japan, going to see my family, they secretly, my great uncle and everybody, they had like a little family gathering. And this is the thing with Islam, they know well. So when you're in the majority that's run here in America, that we have laws that they know they can't do these things. So they try to do it within the inner circle, you know. So it's more like a family Sharia court they had against me, questioning me why I left. They try to pinpoint me, did the government did something to you? They try to blame it all on the government. And they try to, of course, give me a reason for me to come back, give them proof. And I just told them exactly what I did. No government influenced me on anything. So instead of me trying to kill me, of course, they have to use way of mockery. They have to use ways of, you know, if you don't come back, we got to take everything away from you. If you need any help from us or family, you know, all that will be gone. And another thing they did mention is that once I made my claim that I'm not coming back, so this is what they did. Okay, fine. You can leave, but you're not allowed to talk to any of the other family, like to your cousins, about Jesus or Christianity. One of my uncles was fearful. He said, I'm afraid that you might try to make my son come to Christian. I said, this is their choice. If they ask me questions, I said, I'm going to bring it up. I'm not going to hide away just for myself. So this is the way how they interject. And the way that brother Radical brought up about how the Muslim that became a monk, and then because he told how he felt about the religion and they have to kill him, it goes back to the shame. They don't want to bring shame to the family or the society. And this is where it comes back to that Islam is not just a religion, it's a social political system, all wrapped in one. And, you know, till this day, if they want to, yeah, they can kill me. You know, and this is the reason why these are the kind of stuff that needs to be talked about. That I think mostly for the far left, for the liberal thinking or far left thinking, they need to know this, that they're being played. I mean, I could share so many stories. I have seen with my own eyes that I've seen in the local community, they make fun of the Democrats, how much they're an easy target for their game. And for Ian Omar to bring something like that up, And it is true what we all talk about. Like, where's the other laws? If they want to talk about just Islam only, why not against Christophobia, Buddhaphobia, whatever it could be? But it just have to be them, because the mentality goes back to, we are superior than you. I'm better than you. I have seen it with my own eyes. If my father was alive, God knows, maybe he would have had the opportunity to take me out. You know, I know that he was a loving man, but this is what maybe he knew. Even as a young kid, he told me, if you ever leave, I will personally kill you. He said that to my face at age 14. I wasn't even thinking about it. I don't know why he brought that up. And then it just frustrates me when Muslims try to play this game and tap dance around when they know by law what it represents. And this is the question we ask, like, who are we blaming, going back to the Crusades and everything like that, when we see within our own inner circle that there's always problems in it. So that's what I just wanted to share with everything that's going on as a witness.
Well, that's the true. That's the true faith of Islam. That's the true faith of the Sharia. Who's that sheikh that said that if Islam had gotten rid of the apostasy clause, that it would no longer? Was that Khaladawi?
Oh, I think one of those imams. I saw that post.
That is, like Sheikh Khaladawi. You have the leader, one of the leaders of Al Qaeda.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
I did a baby video on that. So, but yeah,
yeah, I think I've put a meme up before, because I've seen the meme where he's and what I did was I went to because sometimes you just think, somebody that is so prominent. This guy was like in the charge of Al Azhar University or something, one of the chief Islamic clerics in all of Sunni Islam. And you're like, yeah, he would say something like that publicly. But there was an interview that he had done, and he said this publicly in the interview, that if Islam had done away with the apostasy clause of killing apostates, that Islam would have gone away a long time ago. So, when you have your own people admitting this, that, hey, look, we have to have this apostasy clause in here, and the reason why we do is because that we have to keep people in the fold, because if you don't do that, you're going to allow them to leave on their own. Everybody will be leaving, just like they did right after Muhammad died. Everybody was leaving. This is why they had what they called the writ of wars. Okay, let's jump back at that. Thank you for that, Emmanuel. Let's jump over to page.
Real quick, people, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and just smash that like button. Tell all your friends. Subscribe. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Go ahead.
Like, what's the bell thing? The bell's the notifications.
Hit the bell too. Yeah, don't forget
click the bell. Yeah, because every time I build a show, it'll notify you. Usually get it on Saturday and Mondays is when I build the shows. Okay, so here on page 598, it's talking about. Let's see here. It's talking about. This is acts that entail leaving Islam, but then it goes on to say what is the. Let me see here. Give him, let's see, if you go here, it says, deny that Allah intended the prophet's message to be the religion followed by the entire world. So you can be an apostate. You can believe all the things that you do about Islam, but if you deny the fact that Allah's messenger taught that Islam is supposed to be the religion followed by everybody on this planet, well, then you're an apostate.
Oh, I want to make another real quick comment about, what causes apostate. You read the one section, if a Muslim calls another Muslim an apostate, they're the apostate. Right. Didn't Kenny call Beholder Guard multiple times an apostate?
Oh, he did. He did. Let me see if I can find that. That was, that's to prostate.
But he just, and that was for him just coming on and talking with you.
Even though Kenny ran to the
and claiming that he was in cahoots with you. I mean, where's the proof of that? There's no way. Right. We just stood up and loved him in Christ, Gave him a platform to listen to him.
And what's funny is Kenny did the same thing, but worse, he ran to the super kafir, Sam Shimon, crying, please don't let those bad Christians tell us the truth about me. I can't have that. But yeah. And, here's the funny part. So even though
we turn around and ask the same thing, he says, "What is it of your business? It's none of your business."
Yeah.
Right?
Well, here's the funny thing. Even though he called Beholder Guard an apostate several times, multiple videos, okay, he now just praised Beholder Guard in one of his videos. Hey, brother, assalamu alaikum. It's good to see you doing just dawah again or something like that. So in other words, he acknowledges that the older guard is not an apostate, even though he calls him apostate.
Yeah, hypocrisy to the finest.
Completely.
Yeah.
This is a recent video, you're saying?
Yeah, recent. Beholder Guard's last video.
No. Okay. So, Kenny is telling him we appreciate you doing videos on Dawa now.
Yep. Kenny made that comment. Yeah.
Wow. Good for Kenny. Being the bigger man about all of this, right? Yeah. He's not. He didn't want to cause any drama, would he? No. Okay, so anybody else want to say anything about apostasy before we go on to the next drop in the glass of?
I would have to say that the big point here with apostasy is that Islam hates all that is not Islamic. And if you have any, this is why children are killed. This is why apostates are killed. It is why family is killed. And it is why jihad is carried out as well. It is all about the hatred of what is not Islamic.
Yeah, okay, and I agree with that. Because here, you know what, you were cheating, weren't you, Paul? You were reading right out of the Reliance of the Traveler, weren't you? Because you went to the next page when you weren't supposed to. You were probably one of those kids in school that read ahead.
Oh, it's from my book, my last book.
All right. All right, so busted. All right, so here is the very next page. Jihad. Now, what is jihad? We've been lectured quite a bit over the recent years about what jihad is and what jihad isn't, and jihad is me losing weight. Jihad is me, getting up and going to work on time. Jihad is everything except what we find in their jurisprudence manual for the Sharia. So jihad here.
Yeah, they want to lie to us West. They want to lie to us Westerns.
Well, why would they want to do that? I mean, come on. They wouldn't lie, would they? They wouldn't misrepresent this, would they? Let's see what their own word said. This is what their own scholar says. This is the jihad means to war against non-Muslims. What did Paul just say? Anything that is not Islamic is to be. Who is this? Now, the Sheikh, you guys need to stop this with the names. That's not funny. Sheikh Yabudi. We can't, you don't be saying things like that. It can be friends that I am gone. Kenny never really, that is funny. Okay. Where were we? We were talking about what jihad is, and that is to war against non-Muslims. Now, war can, there are several different forms of warfare, of course. We know that can be the kinetic warfare, there can be economic warfare, there could be psychological war. There's all kinds of forms of warfare. But what is the purpose of waging war? That is the question that is answered right here in the first sentence under Division O, Chapter 9. It says to establish the religion. So when we ask about the beauty of the Sharia, how beautiful it is, it gives them guidance on how to establish Islam. That's what makes it so beautiful. See, the beauty is that our law tells us how to establish Islam. Now, it doesn't say anything here about proselytizing. If it does, I might have missed it because I really wasn't looking for it, to be honest, but I don't see it. It talks about the lesser jihad and the greater jihad, and the greater jihad, of course, is the war that you have within yourself. But this is not saying anything about the war against yourself, because you would be basically saying that you're a non-Muslim. So we know it doesn't apply there. It applies down here. And what they do is they come out and they provide the Quranic justification. They give you your source verses or your the verses within the Quran that tell us what to do about jihad. And here it is. It says chapter 2, verse 216, fighting is prescribed for you. 489, slay them wherever you, Rad's voice. Rad's got to say that. Slay them wherever you find them. And then fight the idolaters utterly. And then, of course, it mentions several beliefs. And this one right down here from Sahih Bukhari, I have been commanded to fight people until they testify that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, and perform the prayer, pay the zakat, and if they have saved their blood possessions from me, except for the rights of Islam over them. And if they do this, this is what he's basically saying. If you pray 5 times a day and you pay me the zakat, I'm sorry, this is an extortion, of course, then they're going to be spared. So these things, the jihad is to establish Islam. Now here is another drop to say that the Sharia, this is the Sharia, jihad is Sharia, is part of this beautiful law that we have here. Man, this is getting greener and greener as we go on. I don't know, it looks like the New York East River on Columbus Day or St. Patrick's Day. Sorry. Okay. Does anybody have any comment on that?
Well, I think we have to talk about the 3 levels of jihad that were given to us by the 1915 fatwa. The first level, you must hate. You must have hatred in your heart. All right. So this was given by the last caliph before he was dethroned. This last fatwa was considered secret in the United States and kept top secret until the late 60s. Something to think about. That's from 1915.
The caliph? Is this okay? So this is from the Ottoman Empire.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the first level is hatred. The second level is word jihad. You're allowed to. There's not enough people around. You think you'll get killed if you commit an actionable offense. Excuse me. So your job is to share Islam however you can. You can lie, whatever you need to do, but you don't have to commit a physical act because you would be killed. And then, of course, if you feel there's enough of you, then go to war. That's the last one. They'll call it action. And these 3 levels are actually spoken of recently by Joe Biden when he called for jihad.
Oh, I remember that. He was given some type of speech and didn't realize that what he was quoting from.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
Which
he was
is
almost quoting
surprising.
word for word pieces of that 1915 fatwa, and he was quoting a hadith.
Yeah, that's the brilliance of people like him. And this is what's so sad about all that is that they're so desperate to pander to these people that they'll say anything. We saw this with this isn't just a political party thing. I mean, you look what George Bush did immediately after 9/11, for crying out loud. I mean, he's get up there. Islam is peace. Islam means peace. And who does he have sitting right behind him? Was it Nihad or no? What's that guy's name? The leader of CARE today, Nihad Awad or Amwad?
Nihad Awad.
Awad. Okay. The dipwad is standing right behind him. This guy is a criminal, and he has this guy on. Man, I see a pattern here. He has this guy on the stage with him. So when we look at what jihad, so you say there's 3 levels of it. The one where you have to have a hate-filled heart for somebody that is not a Muslim, or
and that was required, and that's required of all Muslims. There's no exception.
How can you require somebody to hate somebody else? I mean, just think about that for a second. What ideology would inspire you to want as something that's obligatory to hate another human being? I could see if another human being, killed your mom or killed a child or something, you having that enmity in your heart for another human being for doing that. I understand that, but just to hate somebody because they don't bow 5 times a day to a rock in Mecca? How hate-filled is that ideology that inspires somebody to tell somebody else that they have to act like that?
From the mind of Satan himself.
That is so true. That is so true, because this is when we talk about all of these things that we've discussed about what Muhammad did and how people actually they completely ignore or completely minimize what he has done in order to provide him praise for giving the Quran or doing all these other things. They completely ignore the evil this guy did. I mean, you can't get away from him being 55. And this, I go back to this all the time because I just can't get over this. When a man does this to a little child, that causes me to want to throttle the guy. I mean, to think that a man my age, maybe a little bit younger, would do that to a little girl, that causes people who, you would hope that the sheepdog in you would come out and want to protect those little girls, not praise the guy who did it or try to excuse what he did. And he just didn't do it one time. He just didn't do it 2 times. He married this little girl and kept doing it every single, well, not every day. I don't know if he did it every day.
He claims he did.
How sick is that?
Yeah, you can't flow your love towards this hatred. You flow your love towards the children to defend them and to speak out so that they will be treated correctly and against this evil.
It's you hit the nail on the head when you said that this is only something that would be demonically inspired would cause people to say, "Oh, that's okay. You just don't understand."
Yeah, you can't drip your love towards an ideology that says, "Go for it, little girls, prepubescent little girls, or game for you." You can't drip your love for that. You drip your love for the children. And when evil hears us, they don't hear that we're dripping love for evil. And we never will. We drip our love for the children to defend them because this is nasty, it's disgusting, and it's pathetic.
Let me read. Let me read from the 1915 fatwa. I have a copy here, and this is jihad. I've labeled this jihad of the heart. It's called jihad in secret. It says this is the easiest and simplest. In this case, it is to suppose that every unbeliever is an enemy to persecute and exterminate him from the face of the earth. There is not a Muslim in the world who is not inspired by this idea. However, in the Quran, it said that such a war is not enough for a Muslim, whether young or old, and must also participate in the other parts of the holy war. So it's required of everyone, and yet it's not enough. That's just scary.
It is. I mean, it's sad that you got 1.5 billion people on this planet that. Okay, let's move on to something a little bit more beautiful about the Sharia, shall we? Yes, we shall. Okay, here's the part that when we start talking about the obligatory character of jihad. Number one, it says it's a communal obligation, meaning that if you were part of that community, you are obligated. It isn't something that is voluntary. You are obliged to participate in it. But here's something that's neat well, I don't say it's neat, but this is something that applies to that organization, CARE. It says, he who provides the equipment for a soldier in jihad has himself performed jihad. So when they're funneling all that money, and what I mean by that is they're laundering all that money and sending it to Hamas, what they're doing is they're performing jihad, don't you see? This is their form of jihad, to send money to terrorist organizations to wage jihad against the infidel, against the Kufar, against them Jews in Israel.
Well, you know, at this point, they can say anything because they're rewriting Islam to try to get Islam in place. So they'll just lie to them and just keep on adding things. Yeah, this is jihad. Send us money so we can buy bombs, bullets, and guns. They're adding to, you know.
I brought up this on Charles's stream Friday night that Hamas kills people. And you know what Kenny's response was? I don't know anything about that. No, they don't. I don't know anything about that. I don't know how you could be a big. Never mind. It doesn't. There's nothing that amazes me about this stuff anymore. Okay, let's keep going on here with the jihad. there was, I think maybe that's all I highlighted. Yeah, that's probably no. Here we are. Objectives of jihad. The objectives of jihad is to do what? Hold on, let me go ahead and put my highlighter here. The objectives of jihad: make war upon the Jews, the Christians, and these people who no longer exist, the Zoroastrians. So they've won at least 1/3 of the battle there, I guess. But that is the objectives of the jihad, is to wage war on them. Now, the first thing they have to do, and Osama bin Laden did this, he's invited them to the faith and practice. So in that letter to the United States, Osama wrote, hey, I invite you to Islam. And then when we said, hey, stick it, this is when he started his little jihad. And then look what it has, look what it leads to. And if they will not, then invited them to enter the social order. Well, what is the social order, pray tell? We don't know what that is. Oh, but they tell us. Here it is. Islam by paying what? The non-Muslim poll tax. And what do you call that? Uh-oh, you call it the jizya. I thought that the jizya was not, they didn't do that anymore. You know what the first thing the Islamic State instituted in Mosul? the jizya. Every dhimmi had to pay the jizya. So, and if they don't do it, then the war continues until they become a Muslim or else pay the look at this, until they become a Muslim or pay the non-Muslim poll tax. And where do they get this idea? Oh my gosh, they get this from Quran 9:29. Yeah, 9:29 right there. Fight those who do not believe in Allah until they pay.
The Imam wants to say, you take everything out of context. Well, it's right there in the Sharia handbook right there.
Yeah.
The Reliance of the Travelers. We can read it, Kenny. Well, Stop lying. We can read.
They prey on the ignorance of people. This is
we aren't ignorant anymore. We aren't.
Well, that's the beauty of living in 2021 here, is because now we have access to the internet. We have access to books like these 1,200 page books, and we have access to anybody can pull up a PDF. You can get this off off of the internet, for Pete's sake. So it isn't like we can't figure this out, and we can't figure out when you are lying to us and when you are not. So the bottom line is that we can figure it out these days.
We can open up the darn book and read it. That's all it takes. I bought it. I got the Reliance of the Traveler, and I've got about 5 or 6 different Qurans that are translated by Muslims. So you just open up the book and read it and see what it says. It's as simple as that. And for any imam saying, no, it doesn't say that, well, he's lying through his teeth. Well, he's the Islamophobia because he fears Islam, because he won't say what Islam is about. He runs from it. We aren't running from it. We're running to it and rebuking it in the name of Jesus, because we know it comes from Satan. That's our battle. We love the Muslims. We hate Islam because it tells you to murder and have sex with little prepubescent children, etc.
Oh, we're getting to that. You're going into the lineup here in just a second, Connie. All right, so let's go over here to the non-Muslim poll tax. This is on page 608. Okay, so the minimum, and this comes out, I did this one time. Like, it comes out today. If you did this, it would only come out to a couple $100, because gold is not worth as much as it used to be, as far as the current value of the dollar on the international market today. But with that said, it still comes out to quite a bit. Then you come down here to let's see, non-Muslims are subjected to comply with Islamic rules that pertain to the safety and indemnity of the life, reputation, and property. In other words, it's your safety. You have to obey the Islamic rules, or your safety will be imperiled. By who? The people who are making you take this oath. And let's see here. You cannot dress like a Muslim. You can't wear the zunar. Not that I would want to dress like that. I don't think anybody. I don't know if you want to put on a dress, that's fine. It's 2021. They even have separate bathrooms for you. Let's see. You don't greet them with "Assalamu alaikum," and you must keep to the side of the street. Now that's from a hadith that talks about you force the. Hold on, I got to sneeze.
Yeah, that's nothing but humiliation. They want to humiliate you. Those were all the Canaanite nations. That's what they wanted to do.
Well, the forcing
is humiliation.
The forcing over the side of the street is where all the excrement would be. So this is where they would force the non-Muslims to walk, is in the midst of the excrement. Let's see here. Let's see display.
So they had chit on the streets, huh? Wow, that's great. It's a great Islamic country, right?
Yeah, well, it's nice and clean. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, we can't live in the Hijaz, meaning the area around Mecca, Medina, and Yamama. Let's see here. A Muslim may not enter the Meccan sacred precinct, Haram, under any circumstances, or enter any, this is the important part, any mosque without permission. So in other words, I cannot enter any mosque unless I'm granted permission. Now, try to keep a Muslim from going into a church and see what happens. What do you think would happen with something like that? Oh, I don't know. You would have a bunch of butthurt that would be on CNN, and you would have that civil rights group known as CARE screaming and moaning and complaining about how unfair it is to prevent them from entering a church. There was a video this morning that I was watching about all kinds of hate. Let's see. This is hate crime. That's hate. All these hate crimes that care. That the whole. Let's see. Let me back up here. The crux of the video was how much airtime CARE gets, and they get this airtime proclaiming completely baseless crimes against Muslims, and it was just kind of this laundry list of perceived hate crimes done by people against Muslims. And that last one that they had talked about was the one that was on Arizona State Library, where some homeless guy went in there and tore up a Quran, and oh my gosh, it was the end of the world, and they wanted they wanted it investigated immediately. Let's go ahead and take away all these resources and catching murder speeds. What's that?
So what, CARE? It's just a book. When you buy a book, it's in your possession now. It's your book. You can do whatever you want with it. They're just about city babies.
What about drilling holes in it?
So, well, that's a picture of that Yasser Qadi said there is holes in the standard narrative. She was being creative, and that's her book, and she can do whatever.
But it's insulting, Connie. Don't you get
that?
Don't
they insult Christ. Their whole book insults Christ, calling him just a prophet. And we're not there up in arms and anything. They're the only ones being the titty babies in America. And you know what, CARE? You can get out of our country.
Well, I'm not going to go there, but I agree.
If Egypt
there's the door. I mean, you can leave.
Kick them out. We kick them out in the name of Jesus.
Legally, they aren't allowed to operate in the United States. This is the underlying strangeness of this. CARE is Hamas in America.
It is.
There is no question about it. It has been proven in a court of law that they are Hamas in America.
Well, that was exactly what I said to the imam the other night. He goes, "Oh, that's your opinion." And no, gunfighter. That's actually what a court of law has said, is that they're associated with Hamas. They're part of a terrorist organization. You're exactly right.
That's a federal court, not a imaginary court, not a Sharia court. It's the United States federal court that declared it. Yeah. And there was an appeals court that reviewed their case, trying to get them out of the being named as an unindicted co-conspirator, and that's where they got listed as there's no doubt there's a connection between you and Hamas.
Now, which Muslim majority country has declared them to be a terrorist organization?
United Arab Emirates, Egypt, and I'm not sure about Saudi Arabia, but I think they may also be there.
Oh. That's pretty bad. Your religion is called you.
When you have allies of the United States calling an organization that exists in the United States a terrorist entity, and the country does nothing about it, something's off in the world.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're panhandling to them. They're using them. Both are using each other. And you know what? We can't afford that. This is our country. We love it. It's for moral and good and proper people.
Well, this is something that you never hear from these guys, is any type of praiseworthy words for our country. I think this is kind of like one of those inherent things that you have to have a hatred for the United States. I have never heard anything positive come out of those pie holes of these imams or those spoke idiots for care say anything positive about our country. Even look at that mensch Ilhan Omar. She hasn't said one positive thing. This country brought her family in when her country was suffering a famine. What's that?
Mm-hmm. Didn't we rescue her from?
We did, however, she came here under a fake name.
What's that? Okay.
So she came under pretense, but didn't we protect her family from Islamic ridden area?
Well, it was from Somalia, and Somalia was going through a civil war. This is, Black Hawk Down period, when they didn't have a government. They still don't have a government to speak of anyway. Wow. But they brought her and her. I think her dad. I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head.
You're right.
Right, and so the United States brings her family into the United States, relocates them, gets them set up. She grows up, and you don't hear one positive word out of that woman's pie hole about the United States. It's all destructive criticism. We don't do this. We don't do that. We don't do a lot of things like try to keep people's mouths shut about criticizing other people either. Mm-hmm. Which she does. She wants to stifle free speech. This is her desire. Well, if she wants to keep people from criticizing Islam, and if she wants to be this a matter of law, and it bothers her so much, go back to Somalia.
Yeah, I know.
They don't do it there, but don't try to tell us that we can't do it. That's just absolutely ridiculous.
And we won't do it. That's the thing. We won't ever do it. So let her go back over there where Islam is about to take it over. And let her be a president over there.
99% of Somalia is Muslim. 99.9%.
Then there you go. So we discovered we delivered her from that ridden area. That was
she wants to bring that to here. That type of mindset here.
I think it's quite a statement what her family believes that she would. I mean, we brought her here. And you will probably hear that it was done in Christian charity. I'll throw that out there. And the response of that as receiving that kindness, that charity to save them from death or worse things, mm-hmm. is hatred. And again, where does that come from? It's their own rules, their fatwas, it's their Quran, it's their hadith,
ideologies.
Yes, so that she's endorsing. When you endorse Islam, you endorse hatred of all that is not Islamic.
Yeah, I mean, why doesn't she start thinking about her grandchildren that are going to be coming up, and her great grandchildren? That she's just landing them in the same pit that we delivered her from.
Does she have any children? I mean, she's getting.
Yeah, she's got like 2 children, I believe.
She has 2 by children. I think she has at least. I don't know if she has one by her brother husband, or. I think she has.
I mean, what would you? Okay, if it was her brother, okay, would you? If the child, would they call him dad or would you call him uncle?
That's a good question. And then I think she has 2 by her real husband, and then. I had heard she was pregnant by her adulterous relationship new husband, so I'm not sure how many she has. But I don't know. I don't know that maybe she killed that one. I don't know, but I'd heard she was pregnant at one point.
every time you discuss this, you just feel you just feel like you get, like I said the other day, you got to go do some ablution or something after you get done with the show. You got to go take a bath, or I don't know. It's just you start listening to how these people live their lives, and what what was I going to say? The sources for this evil. Okay. Let's see. Islamo-Kafir realist. What is this? What is this here? You guys are coming up some really creative names there. I don't know what that means. We're snow on Earth. In Utah, we were in a drought. We're snow on Earth. I'm sure they'll explain. Yeah, here we go. L said Muslims are shameless traitors and the best of deceivers. I was in Montana last summer. And you know what? Half the state was on fire when I was there. It's just a crazy time. Okay, let's go ahead and deal with these rebellious wives. Connie, are you there?
It's not the rebellious wives. It's 65-4. I chose where they can marry prepubescent girls. I sent you a load of memes.
Oh, you did? That's right. Okay, hold on. Let me drag that over there.
Here to let you know.
How many? Okay, how many did you? Let's see. You got 50 of them here, for crying out loud. What?
Do. Probably got 80 more to go, but yeah,
for Pete's sake. Okay, so where do you want me to go first?
You can choose anyone. Just
okay. Hold on, folks. Just listen to what she writes. Listen to what she writes me. I'm a bit tired, but I might talk with Miss Gusta. Okay, and then she sends me 50,000 memes here. Let me get this over.
Those memes I already did, so that was easy for me.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought they were some.
No, I didn't make them on the
okay, so
I've been making these for like 4 years past. Yeah.
All right. So 65-4.
Can you zoom in a tad?
Let me see here. Copy, search, remove, inspect, open.
Zoom on the top, maybe. Let me see.
Notifications, messenger.
Something. I told you way back when. It's control something.
Let me try this. Let's make the screen bigger.
There you go. That's what we need. Yeah, keep on zooming that bad boy in. And this
only goes so big. Okay, it only goes so big. That's the problem.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Hold on. Oh, I'm at 400%. Now all of my icons are really big.
Yeah.
All right, that's about as big as I'm going to be able to get. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, well, and for such a woman as this, this is the Tasfir from Ibn Abbas, right? Mm-hmm. And it says, of your women as despair of menstruation because of old age, if you doubt about their waiting period, and their period of waiting shall be 3 months. Upon which another man asked, O Messenger of Allah, what about the waiting period of those who do not have menstruation because they are, look at that, too young? Now, what are you doing asking about little girls? I tell you what you're doing. You're acting like a scumbag. That's what you're doing. Oops, sorry. That's what you're doing. You're acting like a scumbag. Okay, I'm sorry.
Ibn Abbas is saying they're too young, where one imam goes, no, you're taking it out of context. This is Ibn Abbas. This is Muslims translating his Arabic words right there. We're not lying about this, Kenny. You can see this disgusting filth for yourself. This is Jalalain here saying the same thing.
Right. Also for those who have not yet menstruated because of their young age.
Young age, meaning they're little girls. They have not become women yet. And just because they first start their period, you don't mean they're ready to be taken and do wifely duties and even have sex. It's too young. 14, you're still in high school. Those
14, that's middle school. When I was teaching 8th graders, that was their 8th grade. That's 8th grade.
Okay, there you go.
Sickos.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who's this next one? Abbas. It
Ibn
says, "O
Abbas
Messenger of
did the
Allah, what
same
about
thing.
the waiting period of those who do not have menstruation because they are too young? Because of the young age, their waiting period is 3 months." I mean, come on. What do you? This is what they're doing. Is let's make sure everybody knows that Tasfir is is not an interpretation. Commentary. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. Commentary on what the Quran says, and these are the best, the most popular commentators on the Quran.
Yeah, the earliest guys after Muhammad.
Here's Ibn Abbas again. Waiting period.
Yeah, this guy is trying to say Islam is the only way to salvation. Oh, really? So salvation equals that you can have sex with a little girl?
Hold on.
Would you get how about E10.3?
What's that?
That's page
oh, you're talking
Reliance in Reliance of the Traveler.
10.3. What does that say? 80.
10.3.
Page 80. E10.3.
10.4. When a woman who has been made love to performs the purificatory bath, and the male sperm afterward leaves her vagina, then she must repeat the ghusl if two conditions exist. A, that she is not a child, but rather old enough to have sexual gratification. Excuse me? Hold on. Let me get this up on the screen, Paul. These sick sons of... Oh, come on.
So this is justification in Sharia. It's E10.3. It is page 80.
Oh my gosh, this is sick.
This is actually when I started reading Reliance of the Traveler, this is the first thing that caught my mind and horrified me. I expected a lot of the other things, and to be honest, I never thought that they would put it into their law, so that if you read A, that she is not a child. Okay, this is supposed to be her husband that she's just had sex with, and they're saying she's not a child, but old enough to have had sexual gratification. They're saying this was a prepubescent girl that a man who was married to her just raped. So she doesn't have to clean herself afterwards. That's what they're telling you. That is just...
That is not a child, but rather old enough to have sexual gratifications and would be solely her husband's sperm.
Doesn't that say everything about Islam? I mean, I'd love to hear some of these other people who comment and say, well, they're not, they'll say Aisha's 18 or other things. Like, so why did they write this?
Yeah.
In Sharia.
Yeah, if this wasn't trying to what's the word I'm looking for here, where you try to make something law, if this wasn't trying to make this legal or trying to make some type of justification, have some type of legal ruling over what Muhammad did, why put this in?
Legislate.
Why would you try to legislate this through
this is the number one reason why Islamic countries, this piece of the law is the number one reason why Islamic countries cannot legalize, make it illegal child marriage. They have to have, every place where they've attempted to make it illegal. The Islamic clerics get up in arms, and what they'll do is twist it. They'll put a slight shift. So they'll say the parents can make it legal by giving their approval. Every place that they have tried to institute this in Islamic countries, it gets shot down because Islamic law says you must allow a child to be married and to have a 50-year-old or 60-year-old or a 70-year-old man to have sex with her. The prepubescent girls we're talking about. That is, and you notice there's no age defined here. That should horrify every human being.
Right. It just says that they have not yet menstruated. It just, and that's normally a young girl.
Too young, immature. I think Ibn Kathir says immature or something like that, but I've got it in there So they're showing them they're they're immature, they're too young. They're just little children.
Yeah, and this, I mean, when you start thinking about the bottom line, why, I personally, the bottom line, why I personally reject whatever, I would always reject Muhammad as being any type of standard of conduct to follow, is because of this right here, is because of this sickness that has inspired so many people to try to legitimize and legislate, good word, Connie, legislate the, what he did. And trying to justify what he did. And so what do they do? Let's just go ahead and say that, if they're prepubescent, it's okay. Why? Because Muhammad did this to a prepubescent little girl.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that Ilhan Omar would want to send something like that to the House floor, that you can marry prepubescent little girls, So we better get ready because they want to spread this filth around.
Well, this is what it would lead to. I mean, if you think of if you follow the logical conclusion of all this, especially what has happened in several Supreme Court rulings within the last 2 decades, the first one is to legalize same-sex marriages in our country, make that legal, and say that it's okay to do that. Then they're turning around today and saying that you have to recognize people who want to change their genders and allow them to compete athletically, give them all full rights as somebody of the opposite gender from which they want to identify with. And then the next shoe to drop is going to be polygamy. You watch, it's going to be polygamy. They're going to say, look, you can marry as many women or men as you want to. And however it works out for you, that's fine. We as a country have no business telling you what marriage is and what marriage isn't. But after that, this is the what we would say the golden calf here, not the golden calf. What do you call the special pride? Well, it doesn't matter. Is the age limit? Is to say, especially if you're thinking about having a law or some type of legislative dictate, saying that you can't commit Islamophobia without defining what Islamophobia is, it will be the age. And the reason why is because of this crap. I'm getting a lot of Skype messages here. Sorry, guys. Let me put this back on the screen. Connie, what is this guy? Who is this guy here? You don't know?
Oh yeah, I know. That's a guy that came on with Steve a while back. He won the lottery from Africa to come in America, and he's pushing Islam, and he doesn't even know anything about Islam because we try to, educate him and show him these things, and he just turns a blind eye. So Steve knows him. I forgot what his name was.
Redwan. His name is
Redwan. Yeah, Redwan. That's
called Redwan, Fred.
Yeah,
Redwan.
I mean, but he won the lottery to come to America, from Africa. And I've tried to minister to him embrace the kindness that brought you over here, that even, thought about doing lotteries to give you a better life for you and your children and your family. He's got a little one, and he is just pushing Islam, but he won't see what Ibn Abbas says or Jalalain or the Quran says. They just fight back.
Well, I think what would be good for somebody like him is to have his little girl when she's 9 years old, married off to some old scumbag, and then come back and try to tell us that it's okay. Oh my God. All right. What's this next one you got here? Again, it was this Al Jalalain
saying the same thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. What's the next one we got here? That was it. Was that all that you sent me? Doesn't seem right. No, I missed. Let me go up to the top here. I missed out a bunch of them here. Let me do this. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, And this one says, let's go back one. Maybe you prefaced it. Okay, so in those of your women have passed the age of monthly courses. Oh, this is from the Quran. Yeah, was it 65:4? Is that what this is here?
Yes, it is. It's
64. 60. Okay, so and those who have no courses, they're still immature. Their Ida is 3 months. So she's just repeating what we were discussing. Golly. Sometimes I just suck. Sorry.
Yeah, it's on the internet. Islamic sources right there. And we're not making anything up. I can't make up this grossness. This is what I want my son, to be delivered from. And he's seeing it little by little. He was actually sodomized, okay, as a child in Syria. So he's, it hurts my heart to even say this stuff, but, you have to, because this is what Islam is about. Anything that they give men to do that's sexually just pathetic, you can pretty much guarantee Islam grants that permission against little ones. And Jesus spoke.
Well, here it is with you had this one about Ibn Kathir.
Yeah, there we go. Ibn Kathir says too young. This guy came. You want to read that?
Yeah, it says the Ida of those in menopause, and keyword there, and those who do not have menses, meaning that they do not menstruate. The same for and then it goes on to say the same for the young who have not reached the years of menstruation, have not yet reached the years, That means that you have not entered puberty yet. So what does that mean?
It says the same for the young. Young. It's young. See the word young? Jeez. That tells it all. That's why I got that little baby girl face right there. She's too young. She's a young girl. Jeez.
Yeah, this is the beauty. This is the beauty of Islam, don't you see? This is the beauty of the Sharia, don't you see?
And Kenny says he would stand up for those little girls if they died on their wedding night. Well, they have, Kenny. I mean, the internet is a broad range to see things. And little girls have confessed this on the internet, on YouTube, and saying, no, I shouldn't have been delivered to this. And their family delivered her from that.
Well, this is where the parenting skills. Your parenting skills suck. If you're a father and you allow this to happen to your little girl before she's even entered puberty, because you're afraid that some old scumbag down the street, because he wants to marry her, might report you to the Islamic authorities, then you're a coward. You are a coward. If you don't stand up for, well, I've seen these video clips where these girls are being forced into these marriages and they're screaming, pleading with somebody to stop it.
Yes.
How can you be doing this? I mean, and it's just, it tears your guts out watching.
Eric, you're exactly right. And this says everything about Islam. And it also sums it up by, look who they picked to be the first caliph. The man who gave his 6-year-old daughter to the pedophile prophet.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And see this one, I made this meme. Show that meme back, if you please.
Sorry, there you go.
From what we've talked about today, I mean, look at that. This is Surah 23, 7 and 8. But whosoever seeks beyond that, meaning what Allah says, what Muhammad says, then those are the transgressors. So in a sense, but whosoever seeks beyond that, meaning I'm going to come against little prepubescent girls being sold off for marriage. I'm a transgressor because I stand up for the little girls, and the love is flowing for those little girls, not for the evil that wants to be done unto the little girls. And then the next one, those who are faithfully true to all the duties that Allah has ordained, meaning, okay, you can marry prepubescent girls, that this is honesty, this is moral, you have a moral responsibility and trusts. No, this is just like what our government wants to do, is put all these nice words, title it, nice good words, but then when you read the document of it, it's scum, it's filthy, it's pathetic, it's immoral, it's evil, and it ends up injuring people or shuts their mouth. Because see, that's what she's trying to do, this Ilhan Omar. He's trying to shut my mouth so that I won't say that this is evil. Once they shut our mouth, well, then they can pass they can try to pass filthiness of Islam.
Well, a lot. You're right, because this is what this is an attempt to silence people, shame people into silence.
Yes. Well, this is beyond shame now. She's bringing legislation, trying to pass the House, which she passed, which was like a 219 to 214 or 15. It barely passed, and it won't pass in the Senate.
Well, let's pray it doesn't.
Geez, look how much. Oh yeah, and look at this. Okay, this is in the translation by A.J. Arbery. And those who have not yet menstruated yet. It's right there. We're not lying, Kenny. We're exposing this filthiness that's in the Qurans that are translated by Muslim scholars.
If you marry, let's say you're an old scumbag and you do marry a little girl that's prepubescent. What business do you have after raping this little girl? Do you have divorcing her anytime soon? I mean, why would, after doing that, taking away the innocence away from this child, because it says that she's prepubescent here.
Yeah, too young.
What business do you have trying to divorce her after that? You got your rocks off on her now?
Yes,
I gotta wait.
Now he don't want this little brat. Now he knows he really has just a child. He used her, abused her, and now he don't want her anymore. And Allah goes, oh, that's fine. Just wait until 3 months. Make sure she's not pregnant.
But okay,
because Allah don't know. Didn't Allah know? 3 months.
This is written. This is written for a pervert. Is what? Think about this. This is written for somebody who has a sexual perversion or a perversion of human sexuality, and this is supposed to come from the God of the universe. Really? You're going to try to tell me that this comes from the God of the universe? That as a man, marrying a young girl who's prepubescent, who really doesn't understand the concept of marriage to begin with. Why? Well, because she's prepubescent, don't you see?
She's too young.
She's just a kid.
She's immature.
And now you're going to divorce her. Because why? I mean, how can? Where is the heart in all of this? Is what I guess is kind of what I'm trying to allude to here. Where is the soul of the person doing this? Where is your mind? If number one, you're doing this to begin with, but number two, then you're trying to turn around and divorce her. I mean, is divorce?
That's just disgusting. So he's going to keep on doing disgusting things. He divorces her, or Allah gives him permission to divorce.
You want to know where the heart is? It's right here on the screen. You guys are ill-informed.
Well, he might as well just say that, and that's a boss. He might as well say, "Oh no, that's this is Yahya," because I remember Yahya saying that last time.
This is exactly the type of person.
Ibn Abbas, I showed you Ibn Abbas, I showed you Ibn Kathir, I showed you Jalalain. So you're nothing but a liar, Yahya. Grow up. Repent, come to Christ.
But this tells you where his heart is, and this is what's so sad. This tells you exactly where his heart is.
They're captive. They're hostile.
They're trying to justify this type of behavior. When you try to justify the unjustifiable, you've lost your soul. And all of the. Let's see. Okay, let me see here. Something about filth. What was this? I would never join such filth, and how people could think this is God. Exactly. a few nuts and bolts loose. I'd say they have a few something loose, but I wouldn't call them nuts and bolts. I would say that it's I don't know. This is just kind of one of them soulless things, and to think that people actually think that this comes from an almighty God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. What else we got here, Connie? I'm sorry.
I think that I think you pretty much hit the highlights of all of those. So I mean, it's showing, and there's Wadudi. I think this is Wadudi. Yeah. Maududi. Maududi says the same thing. You know, neither of those women, okay, nor of those girls, not women. Remember what, a couple weeks ago, a boss wanted to say, no, they're not girls, they're women. This is Maududi saying, nor of those girls who have not had menstruation yet. Ibn Maududi is calling them girls. So Ibn Abbas is lying. I mean, we all know it. You know, the Muslims that don't want to get honest, they will lie through their teeth about Islam, and we don't buy it.
Connie has given out the citations straight from the Quran and from the Hadith.
Mm-hmm.
I have given you, and Eric showed you, it came straight from the Sharia, where they're talking about you don't have to perform a perfunctory bath after you've had sex with your husband if you're not mature enough to have had sexual gratification. Okay, that's a prepubescent girl. I mean, it doesn't get any more blatant in anything. Everything has been outright blatant. So you have to be incredibly stupid, ignorant, or you can't be blind. That's the catch. You can't be blind because that information is there. So stupid would be one thing, but again, you can't be stupid when the information is provided for you and you can look it up and verify it. So imbecilic, maybe, moronic, maybe, because you're denying reality. So I'm not sure where you would fall, Seyfed, who denies the information provided, the exact Islamic scriptures cited, the exact Islamic law provided. I don't know where you fall. Is lying deceitful to yourself? And I mean, we know
it's the deceit to to other people.
Muhammad is wrong right there. Yahya is saying that Muhammad is wrong
because
he married a minor. My goodness.
So Yahya is denying Muhammad, but that's allowed because under Islam, you're allowed to deceive. Even though Muhammad didn't care if anybody deceived others. So he's being deceitful. He's being a good Muslim and practicing his good ability to lie. But other than that, he's actually committing apostasy because he's denying Muhammad.
Minors.
Yeah, they don't even know.
I'm against minors to be married, as this is abuse.
So you're an apostate, Saif.
This sounds like that more sounds like Abbas, because Abbas came on.
You're definitely an apostate according to the Quran, according to the definition we just read out of Sharia. Yeah, you are an apostate for denying Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is the beauty of Sharia, don't you see?
Well, what did they say apostates are? What did they say apostates are? What's the penalty?
Death.
Right?
Death. Oh, is there any other penalty?
I don't know. I didn't see any when we were in there.
I didn't see anything else. Death was the only option.
Yeah, it's the final one. You know, in the other countries, they want to claim, well, we don't have any much money, so we sell our little girls because we need the money. I would never have sold my little boy, never, knowing that would have been happening to him, never.
Hold on, this is a good one. Okay. This is why Abu Bakr was a sick pig too. Muhammad married our mother Aisha with the agreement of her family. Well, who's in charge of her family?
Abu Bakr.
Abu Bakr, exactly. And she was old enough. If she's prepubescent, if you say that's old enough, then I would say that you are 6.
Is old enough?
And I don't care if Zubair bin Mutam or Sheikh Yabudi comes out and says that she was over 16. The hadith, the Sahih hadith from
like
Sahih
4 of them,
Bukhari,
5 of them.
Exactly, Sahih Muslim, Abu Dawud, all of those guys cite hadith that say that cite her saying that she was 9. Now, if you want to go ahead and go against that type of scholarship, that's your business. But don't
I got a
try to
meme.
tell
Again,
us.
that makes him
I sent
an
a meme
apostate.
on that to you. Let him show that, because it shows like at least 2 memes on that. That she was 6 and he consummated at 9. You know,
Was
so
that part of what you sent me? Let me see if I can find
yes,
that.
sir.
When you deny
Oh.
Muhammad like this, you deny Islam, and you become the reprobate-minded Muhammad, reprobate-minded Islamic. You're definitely definitely qualified for the title of apostate.
Yep, exactly, Paul.
Yeah. Okay. So this says that she was 6 years old when he consummated when she was 9. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this is narrated by who?
Right there. Sahih al-Bukhari.
Yeah, but it's narrated. It says up here, it's narrated by Aisha.
Oh,
so
yes.
You don't trust
okay.
her. So, and is there, again, it doesn't make him an apostate for denying Aisha, but it's definitely an apostate for denying what the quote prophet did.
Yeah, this is. I mean, this is just. It's sad. I want to before we go. I want to do one more thing here. And I'm sorry. Those are. This is, okay. Just so you guys know, if you guys have a show or you got something you want to have like an introduction made, ask Connie. Now I can promise you.
I can promise
you. Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you right now. I can promise you it's not going to be as good as this one that she made for this. This is like this is epic. What we did with the one with the hair. I mean, it's you're going to get something second rate, but it's not going to be. And don't be disappointed. Don't hate or anything. All right. Okay. Let's talk about marriage before we go here, because I want to add another drop to my pristine glass of refreshing water. Marriage. Now, listen. Look at this. It says that it is unlawful for a Muslim man to marry a Zoroastrian woman, an idol worshiper, or an apostate from Islam, or Adam seeker, murtad. He refers to himself as the world's favorite murtad. And then it goes on to say, or a woman with one parent who is Jewish or Christian while the other is Zoroastrian. So if you have a mixed marriage, let's say a mixed marriage of parents, then you can't marry that person either. But look what it says down below there. It is not lawful or valid for a Muslim man to be married to any woman who is either a Muslim, Christian, or Jew, nor is it lawful or valid for a Muslim woman to be married to anyone besides a Muslim. So here it's saying let me go ahead and draw here. I want to make sure it's not lawful or valid. It's not lawful or valid for a Muslim man to be married to any woman who is not either a Muslim, Christian, or Jew. So the 3 types of people that a Muslim man can marry is a Christian woman, a Jewish woman, and a Muslima. Those are the 3 types of people a Muslim man can marry. However, look at this little thing right here. Oh, look at that. Nor is it lawful or valid for a Muslim woman to be married to anyone besides a Muslim. Now, you go ahead and try to tell me how beautiful that is. How perfect of law that is. You are going to deny people to marry somebody who they want, that they are in love with. That sounds to me that you're an Islamophobe. How are you going to deny somebody that is a Muslim that wants to marry a Jew? A woman who's a Muslim woman who wants to marry a Jewish man or a Christian man. Are you going to deny her the ability to do that? What kind of Islamophobic hatred do you have? Do you not trust this woman to rear children and bring them up in the admonition of Allah and Muhammad?
No.
Islam proves itself.
It's all about
Islam proves itself that it's a fear. It's in fear. Islam is fear. It's torment. Fear has torment, right? The Bible says fear has torment.
Yeah, but Connie, it's all about making the babies. So if she marries a Jew, she can't make Muslim babies. If she marries a Christian, She can't make Muslim babies. But even the Quran and the whatever you showed, which I think was the traveler
Sharia. Yeah, reliance of the traveler.
That's a lie, because a Muslim man can't marry an unbeliever. And given the fact that there is no Christian woman that believes, or she should not believe, that Allah is God and Muhammad is a prophet, and because she takes Jesus as the Son of God, making him, God, part of the Trinity, that disqualifies a Muslim from marrying a Christian.
I'm sitting here reading through the next because I've heard what you've said where it contradicts itself. Say that one more time.
Okay. As a Muslim man, you can marry a Christian and a Jewish woman, but a Muslim man can't marry an unbeliever. Well, an unbeliever would be someone who doesn't believe in Allah and the Prophet Muhammad. And as a Christian, we don't believe in Allah. We sure as hell don't believe in Muhammad, and we commit shirk, right? Because Jesus, for Christians, is God, part of the triune head, right? Well, we also commit the say not three, because we have, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So
well, it does. Okay, hold on. It says that it is not lawful or valid for a Muslim man to be married to any woman who is neither. Okay, so who is either. Okay, so that would be anyone. Let me put this back up here. Sorry. Who is not either. Okay, so these are the types of people that he can marry. A Muslim woman,
a Christian, and
a Jewish woman. Right. Okay. And then it goes on to say Muslim women cannot be married to anyone besides a Muslim man. Right there.
She's pretty much screwed. But the thing is that a Muslim, in order for, let's say I'm a Muslim guy and I fall in love with an atheist, right? Now I can marry her, but she has to convert first.
Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. I agree with that.
She's an unbeliever. Well,
Sure.
That's the same thing as far as a Christian woman. We don't believe in the Muslim faith. We don't believe that Allah is God. We don't believe that she doesn't believe that Muhammad is the prophet, and she would believe that Jesus is the Son of God, aka God. But here's also there was something else that I had come across. Yeah, in the Quran, you can't show me a Christian, because what they consider a Christian is somebody called a Nasara.
Mm-hmm.
But there is an Arabic word for Christian. So did Allah not know what the word for Christian is?
I thought that's what they call it. Nasara is Nazarene. That's what that means.
That's their excuse, that it means Nazarene, because that's not even Nazarene. I have a feeling that the Nasara is some kind of a Gnostic or heretical sect of Christianity that was in that area. There is a word for Christian.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
But the whole premise behind the Muslim marrying a Christian or Jewish woman, what they're doing is now they've robbed Christianity or Judaism the opportunity of those women producing babies or adding to the population, because now they don't even have to convert, but their babies will always be Muslim.
Right. Yeah, because they follow the religion of the father.
Right.
And that's why they cannot marry Christians or Jews or anybody else.
Right.
But Muslim men can marry whoever they want.
Right. But if a woman was to do that, then guess what? Now we've robbed Islam of the opportunity of her making Muslim babies, because she married a non-Muslim.
And yeah, Abbas puts it, our women, as if they're possessions, and that's how Islam's language is.
That's not Abbas.
Your right hand possesses, so that the women. No, No, I'm almost thinking this is a boss.
Well,
No,
okay,
it's-
no, this
Yeah.
is yeah. Now
He's
listen,
Talking too
okay,
smart.
listen here. It says Leviticus,
full of
dare you put
name.
the reference of the Bible as it condemns you all as well. You know, here's what's the interesting thing is, and this is what I mentioned at the beginning of the show when we were talking about apostasy. Because when if you look in the book of Deuteronomy, it talks about stoning those people who would leave the fold of the Jews who had been fled Egypt. Well,
Did
God
you
gave this.
log off of Blog Talk Radio?
Yeah, I get
okay.
it. I did it accidentally, so I got a lot. What time is it? Oh my goodness!
2 minutes and 2
All
hours
right.
and 4 minutes.
Well, okay. Well, we're gonna have to wrap this up because the file can't be too big. Okay, so but the bottom line is that when we looked at those laws, do we still see Jews going out and stoning people to death today? And the answer is no. What about Christians who or claim to follow the teachings of the Old Testament? Are we out there stoning people to death today? Do we see this today?
Nope.
So what they want us to do is they want us to forget about everything that comes in between all of that. Like, I don't know, maybe the Davidic covenant. I don't know, maybe about the new covenant that we find in Christ. Those small little things that come into play there. That's what they want you to forget when they say, "Oh, go to Leviticus, go to Deuteronomy," and all these Mosaic writings. Then, and of course, and then they claim, "Well, Moses didn't write that. They've been too corrupted. We don't know what's in there." But forget all of that. But what they don't do is tell you what they do in Islam today. And that is they go out and they kill people who commit apostasy. And it isn't just leaving.
Yeah,
it isn't just leaving. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Committing apostasy isn't just leaving Islam. Those are people like myself who criticize Muhammad, criticize Islam. And I had I have some other notes that I was going to present today. Don't have time to it, but you could sit there and say all you want that. Oh, well, that's just that not too many people believe that. That's horse hockey, because there are pluralities in countries, Muslim majority countries, that believe that non-believers should also be subjected to Islamic law, which means that you cannot criticize Islam. You cannot criticize Muhammad. So when you start saying about, you start, what is all these things? Deuteronomy, look at there you reference the Bible. Shut up. I mean, you're a joke. And the reason what is you're trying to do is you're trying to play on people's ignorances of everything that has come after that.
Sharia demands everyone submit to it. It's not just for Muslims. I mean, if that's in the beginning of Sharia, it's for the world to accept. It's not for just Muslims.
Okay, hold on. What do we got here? Okay, Jesus says any divorce who married again is committing adultery. No, that's not what he says. But then again, I wouldn't expect you to get it correct. I mean, the biblical exegesis by Yahya. Yeah, we're really going to believe that. That's not what it says. I know that's not what it says, but you can go ahead and think that's what it says. But it doesn't say that. It says something very, very important along with that. But you wouldn't be interested in that because what you want to do is you want to justify what that reprobate you call a prophet did, who actually married the divorced wife of his adopted son after, how does it work? After he had been done with his uses for her or something along those. He was done using her is basically what it says. That's what marriage is according to your prophet. Okay. Who else has something to add today? Isa, you and your Santa hat. We can't take you seriously if you're going to come on camera wearing that again. Do you have anything to add to the show today?
Isa.
Isa, I don't know if he's there. John Isaac. John
yes, I'm here.
John is always there. You know what, John? You know what? I know you're probably listening to a Clubhouse room, right? Simultaneously.
No. I'm listening
you're not?
to you. I'd like to add something in the apostasy law.
Okay, go ahead.
Maybe you don't know, but apostasy law is applied for people who leave Islam, and announce that with loud voice we left Islam.
Okay.
One of the signs of leaving Islam that they don't pray, they don't go to Jum'ah prayers, the Friday prayers with all Muslims in the mosque. Then many of scholars say that if we find any Muslim don't pray, he doesn't pray, then we give him like chance for 3 days to return back to Islam or kill him. This is an application for the apostasy law. It's called the Tariq as-Salah, as a person who leaves prayers.
Okay, so was this practiced? Is this something that goes on in Egypt? You've seen this happen?
Yeah. It's announced. It's well known. It's a fatwa by one of the biggest scholars in Islam in Egypt, who was like a minister in the government 20 years ago. His name Al-Sha'rawi, Sheikh Al-Sha'rawi, says that if we find any Muslim doesn't pray, we give him chance 3 days to return back and pray with other Muslims in mosque, or to be killed.
And who does the killing?
It should be the government. He can do that, but he said it's a fatwa, and if we have Islamic State, Egypt is not Islamic State 100%. But if we have Islamic State, we will apply this law. And he announced that in the TV.
Okay. So if the government doesn't do this,
because we can in Egypt, Egypt depends on Western communities, Western Europe, America, United States, Canada. If they do that, it will be like Afghanistan or Pakistan. Now it will be hard for the Egyptian government to take money from the West to build the country. It's hard to apply that. But this is the Islamic law. This is the Islamic law for apostasy. If we see any Muslim doesn't show the face, prayers, he doesn't pay zakah or this stuff, they give him chance for 3 days to repent and return to Islam. Otherwise, he will be killed. He is an apostate.
Okay, and so you're saying that the government does this. So if this guy's, let's say, he's out on the street,
he says that in the TV, in the show on the TV, he has like a weekly show every Friday. He speaks about everything in Quran. He has his own tafsir, but he died now. He is not living now. But he in his time, he was like the biggest scholar in Egypt, and he said the person who leaves prayers should be killed.
It just makes you feel icky thinking about that. Okay. Let's see. I want to address this. If you want to come Tuesday and you want to discuss this, get here on Tuesday. We start at 5 p.m. I don't know if that's too late for you. My understanding is that you are 6 hours ahead of us.
It will be 11 o'clock. It will be 11 o'clock.
It'd be 11 o'clock your time. If you want to come Tuesday, I will send you the link. Send me I do have you on Skype. Hold on, let me check here. Aladdin, look at there. Okay, yeah. Sayed. Aladdin he sends me Skype messages all the time. I think he likes me.
He doesn't send me any. He doesn't like me.
I think he wants me to become one of his dancing little boys.
There you go.
I don't know about him, but okay, if you want to do that on Tuesday, you let me know. Send me a Skype message, and we'll continue this. If not, then I got all kinds of other things that we need to discuss on Tuesday. Okay. Anybody else have anything to say? Paul.
Yeah, we need to get a network together so we can do more shows, more panels.
I think that what has to happen is more people need to buy, unfortunately, which means giving Islam some more money, but we need to buy and distribute this book called Reliance of the Traveler, and people need to share what's within it.
It's
some
free
of the stuff talked about,
PDF.
I cover in my book, The Cancer on Civilization Jihad. This is not a pretty, it's not a kind, it's not a loving faith structure. All right. It is an abhorrent, disgusting, vile, pedophile lover faith. And in order to say anything else, you have to deny Muhammad.
Okay.
That's my statement.
All right. How about
is it on Kindle?
Mr. the Fifth Deal? Anything that you
On
want to say?
Amazon, I think it's
DL?
just a paperback for his Cancer Civilization book. I just ordered it the other day.
That's my new name, the Fifth.
The Fifth. Pleader of the Fifth, the silent one.
Yeah, I know.
DL Tate.
Yeah, what does DL have to say, man? He's always pretty powerful.
No, for some reason the show kept kicking me out. I had to get back in like 5 times.
I saw that.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, is there any way that? Go ahead.
But what I was saying is, intermittently, I was going toe to toe with your good buddy Ajaz Ahmed on Clubhouse. Still come with the same old nonsense stuff.
Oh, cool. You're on Clubhouse, DL? Is it DL Tate? Is that your name?
I got invited into that 2 or 3 days ago, and I was surprised to see my brother Chris Claus on there and John Isaac. And
I go.
Oh, yeah.
I don't ever talk, but I go. Also,
and
guys,
I was
able to. I was going by Ali, and I could never change my name, so I didn't like going there.
You know what?
You misrepresent.
I saw your picture, and I saw that Ali. I thought maybe somebody was just mocking you.
No, he was actually
really you.
Well,
he was actually
people do mock me, and that's fine.
I'm on there sometimes.
Yeah, what I was trying to do is I was just trying to be able to go into Muslim rooms without them, kicking me out or whatever. So, but I was able to find. What I realized is that you can change your name like every 30 days, I think. So I was able to go in there and change it back to. I changed it back to Eric Smith yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So I am. So when you see, plus I got Eric Smith, but I changed my picture to Father Boutros.
Yes, Boutros. Zachariah. Yeah,
exactly.
I had that profile. Yeah, we need to support him on that. Yeah.
Okay, how do I?
Well, what's so funny is I guess I'm going to have to change my name because every time I try to just hang back and listen, somebody sees DL and they want to bring me up.
Nobody loves
you're a popular guy. That's why. I mean, they don't ever want to bring me up.
I think my nick.
Okay, well, because you changed your name, so
right. Well, that might be
Lewis. Shadid Lewis had a little show the other day, and I popped in to see what was up, and then he said, "Hey, DL, you want to come up here and have a discussion?" So
Shahid, man, Shahid used his video to debate me on 86.7, and I didn't realize it until later.
Shahid or Shadid?
Shahid Lewis. He goes by the name of
Shadid.
Mr. Islam.
Yeah, Shadid Lewis.
Oh, Shadid. Okay, there's somebody else.
Yeah. The brother?
Well, yeah, this one's a brother also.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're talking about the same person.
Yeah, he's debated. He's well known. I think he debated David Wood and a few others. On Pal Talk, he goes by the name Mr. Islam Answers Back. Actually, I think his YouTube channel might be called Mr. Islam Answers Back.
Well, he needs to, before he answers, as Proverbs 15:28 says, you need to study, to answer, because he's not.
Let me tell you,
he's an apologist for Islam. He's not a very good one.
I had a little 86.7 going over with him, and it wasn't really a debate. Unfortunately, it didn't get recorded well, and he's got a video on his channel about the whole 86.7, between the backbone and the ribs. And I didn't realize that the guy was responding to me with his video until I watched his video, and I put 2 and 2 together, and I'm like, this mother responded to me with his video. I guess he was having a lazy day and he didn't want to repeat himself. But I'm sorry, these guys that claim that they can debate, they have no clue what debating is.
No, not at all.
I mean, they think they're
But
great.
the bad thing about Shadid Lewis is he's actually a pretty cool guy.
I don't know. I got the impression that he hates whites. He's very racist towards whites.
he can't hide that. He can't cover it up.
Yeah,
but he's half Puerto Rican, so
Yeah, but yeah.
Okay, let me address this question here for Yeah. Okay, if you want to come up and discuss what we were discussing today, which mainly dealt with the Sharia surrounding the age of marriage, divorce, and how it is applied in Islam, that's fine. That is fine. You want to discuss that? We'll discuss that on Tuesday. Okay, anybody else before we go? Thank you for coming. Trying to think. We didn't hear Kana. You got anything, John? Isa?
No, thank you. Every
Thank you so much.
opportunity to expose that Islam is tormenting little girls, I do appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, well, we're going to do it again. It looks like we're doing it again on Tuesday. Yaya says that
Rock on.
if you can come, that'd be great. We'll see what he has to say.
Muhammad was a hypocrite because it was okay for him to marry, a 6-year-old, but he wouldn't allow the same thing to happen to his daughter Fatima, because Abu Bakr wanted to marry her, and he's like, no, you can't marry her. She's too young.
Yeah, she's too young, you old scumbag. What's wrong with you?
But it was okay for him to marry Abu Bakr's daughter.
She's 25. I mean, come on. What do you go get somebody your own age?
But even with what Yaya was saying, let's say that Aisha was 16, which we know she wasn't. Okay, she's 16. Muhammad is still 50 years old. That's disgusting. To me, that would be like me marrying my daughter. I would never marry somebody that I could.
It would be your grand. It could be. Yeah, it could be my. Yeah, right.
Yeah, 50. Yeah. I mean, so
16. She just got out of driver's ed, man.
It's still disgusting any way you look at it. And here's the thing:
why would you want to marry someone they can't drive to begin? Why would you marry someone like that?
Muslims like to say, but in the United States 100 years ago, you could marry a 7-year-old. But see, they're missing the point. Muhammad is the perfect example.
Right. Yeah.
Right. These guys, first of all, they have no proof that, let's say, these 12-year-olds were marrying 50-year-old guys. I guarantee you those 12-year-olds are probably marrying 17 and 18-year-old kids. They weren't marrying any prophet. Oh, but King so-and-so married a 7-year-old. I don't believe that's true, but let's say it is true. He's not the perfect example for everybody to follow.
Exactly. That's the biggest difference right there.
It's still disgusting right there. So at the end of the day, we're talking about the perfect example that everybody is supposed to follow, emulate. So that means Muslims, I got bad news for you. If you're not marrying 6-year-olds, you're not following your prophet. So let's get to it. And no,
let's get.
I won't even give you my 3-year-old dog. Oh, and here's the other thing. My understanding for Muslims is that you're ready to have sex at the first sign of a period. Now, we have girls who get a period at 5, 6, 7. So does that mean, according to them, a 7-year-old who has a period is now lawful for you to marry and have sex? Because to them, maturity is when you have a period. Because they think that's all that's required for somebody to have a kid. Now, you could have a kid, you probably die having the kid, because the youngest girl that ever had a kid was 5 years old. So what does that mean? That it's okay to marry a 5-year-old? Whoever did that
means whoever did that to that little girl needs to be thrown in jail and have it cut off.
So Muslims are the ones who came up with that old slogan: if she's old enough to bleed, she's old enough to breed.
Could be.
It would be.
I don't know of any girls that menstruate at 7 years old, man. What part of the country do you guys live in?
It's rare, DL, but it does happen.
Oh, it does? I never heard of it. Okay.
Yeah. Just like I said, I was shocked to find out that the youngest girl to have a kid was 5 years old. So that means she got pregnant at 4. Now I can't remember which Latin country this was.
But who was the father? That's the guy.
That's what I was saying. Whoever it was,
have his head split open.
That's just, yeah.
I mean, even if, let's say, it was a 12-year-old, it's still sick all around. But in Islam, that would be the justification. She had her period. Now, my fiance had a 7-year-old. I mean, what, 3 foot something? I mean, seriously, for a grown man to think about a 7-year-old in a sexual way, you need to be put away in a dark room full of rodents and smear peanut butter all over you.
Yeah,
Well, I
you're
could think of a
sick,
lot
man.
worse ways to do it, but that'd be one way. But I could think of some others.
Some very hungry rat with peanut butter.
Well, I tell you, and a very angry papa with a blowtorch would be a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, it's just disgusting. It doesn't
I
matter.
mean, just think about it. I mean, as guys, for you to have sex, you have to be excited. You know, to get an erection. So just think about how what Muhammad did when he was with Aisha. He had to be lusting after her to get sexually excited. That's sick. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just from a practical, aspect. I mean, I don't know. If I saw him today, I'd blow his head off. And if he went to prison, they'd kill him in there.
But here's the whole thing, DL. I actually think Muhammad gets a bad rap because I don't believe he existed. And
I think Allah gets a bad rap.
Well,
I think Allah is a victim of a false prophet who put a bunch of words in his mouth.
Yes. Yeah.
That's even a better way.
I really do.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Exactly. Sock puppet.
Sock puppet. I love that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Hey guys, we got to go.
Yeah, look, he made it to 2 hours and 25 minutes. All right. Getting close.
Well, that's just something that's an endurance level. This is something you just got to build up over time. I was at the 1 hour mark when I first started. Now look at me 5 years later. I've tripled
5 years
that.
down the road, he'll be at 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Maybe, if I'm still here, inshallah. All right, guys. God bless you. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you Tuesday. Hopefully, Yahya will come. We'll see if he comes. That'll be interesting.
What's next week's show about?
Next week or Tuesdays?
Tuesdays.
We're going to discuss this if Yahya comes, and if not, then I don't know. What do you think we should talk about? What would be a good topic? Anything off the top of your head?
I mean,
I can't think of anything right now.
I think we've pretty much discussed everything. The one Quran that's been,
Surah 3:7.
Surah
What's
3:7.
that?
I'm not familiar with that one.
There are foundational scriptures and then those that are ambiguous. The reason why I think that's a good subject is because Muslims always claim that they believe the whole Quran. Yet that verse says only those who are sick in their heart follow the ambiguous portions of it, right?
But that's a contradiction because there's other verses where it says the Quran is clear and every verse is explained and detailed.
Exactly.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll write something up and we'll talk about that. Are you going to be able to come, DL?
Oh yes, definitely. I have banker's hours now. I don't work the old stuff.
Hey, you should also do one on the science of the Quran.
That's boring. It really is. I've watched Nadir. Okay, guys, we got to go. We'll look at 3:7. If we don't, if Yahya comes, we'll continue this, and if he doesn't, then we'll do 3:7. How's that?
Sounds good.
Shalom.
All righty. God bless y'all.
Right, you guys have a good one.
See ya. All right. Be safe.